Hello, everybody. There we go. Welcome back to the channel where we talk about stuff. I realized you weren't here. I was talking into the microphone for about 5 minutes, and then looked down and realized that I wasn't recording. That was very, very fun. Don't don't forget to follow me on social media. There are links beneath the video in the description. There we go. The first part of this year was kind of filled extensively with an enormous amount of cryptocurrency price predictions. That's kind of what we received within the market. We're kind of at a weird pivotal turning point for Bitcoin and the cryptocurrency market as people try to figure out what's coming next in a very extreme way. So crypto is now completely mainstream. The January timeframe that we had revolved around hearing people assuming Bitcoin's going to $500,000 per coin, Ethereum's going to 22,000, XRP is going to $10 to $15. Like this is like the bulk of the news that we had over the last 5 weeks, give or take. So that has now transformed into kind of like an amalgamation of everything having to go right in order for things to go right. So the news about stablecoins, the news about regulations, the news about gold and silver, if you've been here and have been hearing about it, the news about liquidity, the news about markets, the news about the Federal Reserve, the news about tariffs. All these things are like hyper blending together in this really weird soup that kind of has to taste good, or we won't get those extravagant prices like we were hearing. There's a lot of people in the cryptocurrency space now coming forward, not in a negative way. They're not saying anything bad. It's just more of a, we got to get this right in order to kind of get to the finish line. So there's a guy called Arthur Hayes who's now announcing that we actually need to see a lot more liquidity in the cryptocurrency space. A lot of what's happening appears to just be ETF accumulation. These companies are buying huge amounts of ETFs, or the ETF issuers are buying them and kind of holding on to the coins. A lot of people are buying up crypto, but they're slowing down their trading simply for wanting to hold it. No one really wants to trade away their crypto if prices are going to end up going a lot higher. We are waiting for word of as to when we're going to see this kind of like central bank expansion in all manners of the meaning. We've been hearing that central banks are quite keen on creating their own central bank digital currencies, which they're going to do this year, so we've heard. The secondary part of it, you remember 2025, we were getting a large amount of news regarding banks like printing more, which they have been doing, but it's lower than even like stock market expectations, as a lot of countries have announced that they're going to turn the money printer on, but it seems to not be as fast, providing enough liquidity and therefore like inflation for prices to also move with it. We heard that Germany was planning on, I think it was $1 trillion or €1 trillion, excuse me, worth of like euros, like $1 trillion just for Germany alone. We had news from China. We also had news from Japan as well, whose economy is apparently kind of in like a bit of a tizzy. Then you throw on top if you haven't looked at it, I assume many people maybe are just into crypto, but a lot of the gold and silver news that's popping up is that we're seeing like you saw like the big drop in price that we had. Gold was 5,500, then like the same day it went down to 4,800 or something like that. Higher ups in the cryptocurrency space in January, like the beginning of January, began to call for some kind of like a rotation. So it would kind of go something like this. Tons of people would see like de-dollarization efforts. We would see that there's a huge amount of US dollars being printed, etc. And therefore they would move into gold and subsequently also silver in this instance. They claimed that this was happening not as a rug pull, but an increase in liquidity so that more people could take money out of the gold and silver market and then throw it into the cryptocurrency market for the next leg up in our market. Right. So then seeing the actual drop in gold and silver and then the subsequent movements of the market is kind of lending to this narrative as well. We've kind of softly moved away from the price prediction kind of theme of the year, and we're getting into more like actual like nitty gritty of things that have to happen for us to actually hit these crazy prices. There's a lot of pushback for stable coins. Stable coins are also were like the poster child for cryptocurrency movement in 2026. We were told an elaborate amount of times that the cryptocurrency market is going to move higher when we start seeing companies and institutions creating their stable coins on top of Ethereum. You know, the proclamation was that around 80% of the stable coin and central bank digital currencies would be created on top of Ethereum, with Solana holding around 10% and some of the other chains holding around the other 10. Got it. What's happening now is that banks are also realizing that the rules and regulations that made stablecoins popular and are causing Facebook and Amazon and Uber and all these other companies to announce that they're working on their own stablecoins are incredibly bad for banks. Now, you may say, who cares? They're banks. The problem is that the banks have all the money and they usually have all the power. So they're currently, as far as we've heard, trying to like push back heavily on a number of like stablecoin regulatory bills that would then dampen the trillions of dollars that we heard were going to be put onto cryptocurrency blockchains such as Ethereum. You get to a $22,000 Ether by having good regulation and by having people and banks put trillions of dollars worth of assets on it. If you don't have those trillions of dollars worth, like stable coins will still be a thing, but then that lowers prices, that lowers expectations, that lowers the actual proximity for the actual bull run. There are a lot of people who are talking about the ETF inflows and how they might be impacted. It's namely because a lot of the narrative that we've been hearing about has kind of rested on the shoulders of like three things. Everything's going to be tokenized. $100 trillion in the cryptocurrency market in the next 4 years. Stable coins and central bank digital currencies. That's going to be, everyone's going to love it. We're going to be using these everywhere. Visa and MasterCard are announcing things. Sony, I think, also announced their own stable coin. Absolutely fantastic. But if you don't have the proper rules and regulations, which is number 3, which is all that we've also been hearing, that everything's going to kind of like work out. Everything's going to take place. Everything will fall into shape. Everything kind of has to land this way. Tom Lee is in the news talking about his expectations of further rotations from the gold and silver market moving into the cryptocurrency space. The idea for stablecoins still remains quite strong. Stablecoins will be around regardless. It's just that the actual, as far as I understand, the current regulations within the United States regarding stablecoins would take away an enormous amount of power from banks and from the banking system. This in turn is causing banks to get a little annoyed. It's a very easy rundown. So imagine you have $100 in the bank and $100 on Coinbase. The bank is offering you in your bank account, they'll give you 0.9% on your money that you actually have in your bank account. Most banks have very low numbers. Coinbase, however, has multiple stable coins on their platform, many of them ranging from 1%, 2%, 3%, 5% just for holding those stable coins. Do you want the less than 1% or do you want the 5%? The other issue that ends up being the money that you're making passively is already on Coinbase's website. Coinbase, you're then kind of, you click on it and you go, actually, I want some Bitcoin. So you use the money that you made to then buy some Bitcoin, or you buy some Ether, or you buy some other coin. The coin that you bought from that, you can also stake it passively, get passive income from it, and then use that money to put into another asset. So we've seen bank deposits decreasing rapidly. Understand that every $1 euro yen that doesn't go into a stock based in those currencies, into real estate, into anything else, is a dollar that basically has left the system. So when you start hearing last year that all these banks were putting in hundreds of millions of dollars into Bitcoin, that's why I was so like crazy, so many videos, because I'm like, how is no one paying attention to all these things that are happening? People have lost faith. The people who created fiat currencies have lost faith in fiat currencies. Now it's the public's turn. So people, every single time you've invested something in crypto, that money has left your bank account. The bank balances are actually completely like draining. They're getting a lot lower as more people get into the market. Every single time you have an automatic order for $100 per week to buy some crypto, that money's leaving your bank account and it's going into Coinbase. You are making extra money that the bank is not making off of you. So this is where the banks are beginning to actually push back and talk about creating their own coins and creating their own central bank digital currencies. They announced, I think it was Tom Lee, if I'm not mistaken. They're expecting that if stablecoin adoption doesn't slow down, because once again, all these companies, everybody's making one. Everyone's creating their own stablecoin, their own central bank digital currency, what have you. They're expecting a $500 billion bank run. If you realize, it's kind of like when you see Bitcoin at $1, you don't know what it is. It doesn't make any sense to you. You see Bitcoin's at 100. Oh, that's cool. People made some kind of money. Bitcoin goes to 10,000 and you realize, fudge, I should have been in that market. So you transfer 500 out. The difference ends up being when these numbers get really high, as people continue to not have jobs and other prospects. One of the really annoying things for me is that people don't realize things early. It's only after. So when Bitcoin goes to $1 million per coin, the lights will flash in people's eyes and they'll go, oh my gosh, I should have gotten Bitcoin the entire time. And then they'll rush into the market. When you realize that there's an opportunity for you after the fact, this is when normal people tend to rush into that actual market. So if we see a situation where Bitcoin goes from 100, 200, 300, 400, $700,000, people will begin to take all of their money out of banks and throw it into cryptocurrencies. We're also talking about stablecoin deposits. If you haven't seen, there's so much. There's so many layers to all these things that are currently happening right now. If regulation works out for stablecoins, it's probably going to be a massive boost for like actual decentralized cryptocurrencies. And we will begin to see banks and the system like start to falter and collapse into itself. But this is... yeah, all of this is really intense. The talk of tokenization, it's constantly in the news. We're talking about all these companies who are the most recent and high-tailed ones have been Robinhood and Coinbase, who now have like tokenized stocks on their platform, usually for US investors, but like it's moving all in that kind of direction. So the news for the cryptocurrency space isn't negative, but it's very like, hold your breath and wait and see, because we are at the point where all the amazing things that have kind of been promised are supposed to be happening soon, but other things need to take place first before we actually get to that point. And this is kind of where the narrative currently lies. These people still every single day are talking about cryptocurrency prices going a lot higher, especially over the next couple of weeks, liquidity being added to the market and this and so and so. Also, the new head of the Federal Reserve is also like coin flips for that one as well, because people have known his activity within the financial space to be quite like conservative and reserved as far as like wanting to slow down inflation. But then we also know that Trump also wants a 1% interest rate, like lowering down from 3 point something to 1%. That would also rock markets. That would cause everything to go up, but the US dollar would then also begin to falter. So we'd see more people moving out of the US market and the US dollar and moving their money into stable coins and into cryptocurrencies, which also then hurts the banks a lot more. So yeah, there's a lot happening in a very short period of time. We have roughly 4, 5, 6 weeks. That was the time frame I gave before. 4, 5, 6 weeks to see if we are indeed in a brand new cycle, if the 4-year cycle has collapsed, if we are going to begin to move up, because a lot of the predictions in the beginning of January were all about spring. Spring into summer gets us the $7,000 Ether and the $250,000 Bitcoin. We're not far off now. Yeah, there's It's not tense, but it's pretty tense because everyone's anticipating movements in the market, but no one knows what the next step is going to be. So, yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I do hope that you've all enjoyed. I do hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, listening, liking, commenting, and supporting, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.